How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we're going over a video that was suggested to me recently titled, Are Corrective Trainers Qualified to Train Dogs? Which I think this is a brilliant video to go over and a very good point to ask. Are correction trainers qualified to be working with dogs? Should they be working with dogs? By corrective trainers, I would say that they're referring to, or what I would refer to as corrective trainers, is someone who uses specific training collars, more compulsion trainers, a lot of the balance trainers, where they use, obviously, any electric stimulation collar. I'll just name a few. I call them a shock collar, but the e-collar or a star mark collar or a choke chain, any kind of slip collar, dominant dog collar, whatever it's made of. If they use a head halter and they give jerks and pops, if they use a citronella collar or a bark collar, invisible fence, I mean, that's something else. But for me, if you're a trainer and you're giving this advice to someone, someone who gives, again, leash pops and is demanding of the dog they be in a certain specific position at all times, basically compulsion trainer or very aversive trainer. I would say Garrett Wing of American Standard Dog Training, Joel Beckman, Upstate Canine Academy, Tom Davis. Those are people that I think are not qualified trainers. And qualified trainers, I think, would be the people who do not have to rely on tools, a prong collar to get a dog to sit or walk on leash. So for me, a qualified trainer is anyone who can teach a dog to walk in a harness that clips in the back, that doesn't rely on the front clip. That, to me, or a nice wide flat buckle collar as we see on this German Shepherd here. So let's see what this person has to say. If you want to see the video first, it's a very short video. Go ahead and check it out now. It's Are Corrective Trainers Qualified to Train Dogs? And it is by Abandonment Prevention Canine. This is the channel here. They could definitely use some more subscribers. Well, we'll see what they have to say. So let's get started. Oops, I guess it...
There are two types of balanced dog training, preventative and corrective. Corrective training is what most of us see being done poorly on the internet. The dog has already developed some behavioral issues.
So I'm just watching the one on the left first, and then I'll go back and watch. Oh, there is Joel Beckman.
Sometimes
this is the, I've actually gone over her before as well. This is the I don't know, the pack leader, whatever nonsense person.
Dog has already been
dog looks like it's limping
to the tool. We might have to give up our physical communication because they no longer perceive it as communication.
Ouch.
And we may need to change to a
this
punishment
is what, Dog
or
Daddy,
correction-based physical
again,
communication
Joel Beckman.
system. But in any other situation,
what was that for,
that,
Beckman? Why? Dog Daddy and this beautiful Akita. I do see a star mark collar on this dog, though. So I wouldn't say this is a qualified trainer. I'll go back to look at this side. Right now I'm just looking at
it is incorrect
the left-hand side, because that's not a qualified trainer to me.
Even though the most popular
they're still relying
trainers on the
threat
internet
of punishment.
don't show any preventative dog training methods, and instead they choose to show
of course we're going back to
methods
just
on dogs who have never
this
had
guy
the
is
opportunity
just
to be on a preventative
again
program,
star mark
which
collar.
is why the abuse word gets thrown around a lot in
star
relation
mark
to
collar
balanced trainers. Because yes, if you
is the one person that's over here is using star mark. They're not any more qualified than this person. So we'll go back to this. Sorry, I'm looking at this guy.
Incorrectly to yank around a dog who doesn't know what's going on unnecessarily, who should be on a preventative dog training program, not a corrective one, then you are causing unnecessary physical and psychological harm to that dog, which is something that is unfortunately becoming all too common. So, what is preventative dog training? In an advanced...
So this guy is not any more qualified than these people. He's just as bad. He's actually just sneaky. The star mark is the star mark collar is this. This is a star mark collar. This is what it looks like. If you unclip it, it looks like this. We'll go to a section where it shows it on his dog so I can say that I'm not like
not using
crazy,
commands
we're
and
lying.
corrections. You are creating a dynamic language.
So they walked
to
away
communicate
and
with
they
your
popped the dog at the
physically,
star mark.
visually, and verbally. This naturally creates structure
Ouch.
and a positive
I'm looking at this
association
dog
to
going,
looking to
ouch.
you, their handler, for guidance. In a corrective training approach, your dog might pay attention to you. Communication.
Ouch,
they
ouch.
No longer perceive
so that's
it
not qualified. That was a pop on this. So these are both
as
aversive. There. This guy. Oh. I take back what I said earlier. He doesn't need more, if he's saying that this is qualified. Is this his training? Because he's no more training, no more qualified. He's the same as these people. He's actually worse because he's trying to hide it with a plastic prong collar. It's basically a plastic prong collar. There's these little points. They're like, they're rounded, but it's sharp enough to where obviously it works, because how would you train the dog otherwise? So we're going to go back. I'm going to watch these dogs. I'm going to watch these dogs, and every time I think I see what looks like a correction, I'll pop myself with it, and we can see at the end what marks it leaves. Don't try this at home, please.
Dog training. Preventative.
They're off leash, great.
Corrective training.
You don't need this collar.
Being done poorly on the
I see an e-collar
already...
remote on him, though. That looks like an e-collar remote.
Being done poorly on the internet. The dog has already developed some behavioral issues, and now the trainer feels the need to correct this unwanted behavior with punishment.
Pop.
Sometimes this is necessary. If a large, obnoxious personality dog has already been desensitized to the tool,
no, they don't need that type of correction. Even a large, obnoxious dog does not need a correction like this. And this isn't my hand. This isn't 6 feet or 20 feet away. Ouch.
Because they no longer perceive it as communication.
And then reward.
And we may need
Sniffing.
to change to a punishment or correction-based physical communication system. But in any other situation other than that, it is incorrect to use a corrective-based training approach to train your dog. Even though the most popular balance trainers on the internet don't show any preventative dog training methods, and instead they choose to show corrective
e-collar
training
remote.
methods.
He had one hanging around his neck. What is this guy talking about?
On dogs who have never had the opportunity to be on a preventative program. Which is why the abuse word gets thrown around a lot in relation to balanced trainers. Because yes, if you use physical corrections incorrectly to yank around a dog who doesn't know what's going on unnecessarily...
Okay, so he's trying to say that corrections are okay if the dog knows and understands what's going on. He's just as dumb as the other people. So I take back, he doesn't need more subscribers. If you want to, go subscribe to him, but... I wouldn't subscribe to him.
On a preventative dog training program
until he becomes honest and says, hey, I use star mark collar, I use corrections, I use apparently e-collars. All that nonsense.
Which is something that is unfortunately becoming all too common. So, then what is preventative dog training? In an advanced preventative dog training approach, you are not using commands and corrections. You are creating a dynamic language to communicate with your dog, physically, visually, and verbally. This naturally creates structure and a positive association.
Yeah, he's great at doing what he's doing with luring. Can you do that without luring? And you don't need this to pop your dog with it.
To you, their handler.
If you're using rewards.
In a corrective training approach, your dog might pay attention to you, but they are not looking to you for guidance. They're looking out of self-preservation. So to put simply,
it's no different than you do. E-collar remote. I don't know if it's on the dog or not, but let's go back in slow motion. Let's see. We're going to mute him so he's not like talking in slow motion. E-collar remote right there. And this dog has a shock collar on. You can't see it, but he has this on, and this dog looks like they have multiple collars. This leash is connected to the star mark, and this dog has what looks like possibly an e-collar below that. This guy is more of a liar than the other people, because at least they're honest about it, or they're more open. I guess he's not really any worse or better. The other people certainly aren't much better, but they're all lying. They're all hiding. He is just as much of a correction trainer as anybody else. Tries to look all positive. I don't know if you can see any red marks or not. That was just with my, maybe 2 inches of correction. Yeah, 2 inches of correction. This is a little bit more power of me just digging on, and you can see there's marks on my arm. But this guy is just as sneaky as the other people. Sorry. Okay, so he's trying to say that, oh, I could save them. So, being abusive and aggressive and dangerous with animals is preventing them from being abandoned. Okay, whatever. I don't know. That's just what I take from his name. Anyway, if you like him and you want to go subscribe, go for it. I think he's just as much of a sneaky snake as the other trainers, and he is no more qualified than they are. He is a correction trainer. I thought he was going to be showing a positive reinforcement trainer, but no, he's not. He's just showing his own stuff of he uses a plastic prong collar, a star mark collar, in other words. And in some cases, maybe a few cases, an e-collar, a shock collar, electric collar. Thank you for the suggestion. Neither of these people, none of the people shown in this video are qualified. This owner here looks more qualified than the trainer, but you don't need anything like that. You don't need any kind of corrective collar or anything like that. If you're doing fine using the lure, but the trainers like that use corrections can't get away from the lure because they rely on it, because they don't know, they don't have enough practice without the lure. They have so much more practice using the threat of correction that they haven't worked in. It's too easy for them. They haven't worked enough with, fading out the lure and all that. Positive reinforcement is actually more difficult and it takes more time to develop your skill than using correction. Corrections are easy. Either way, you get the same. There's being more aggressive on the left-hand side, being less outwardly aggressive on the right-hand side, but you don't have to be as aggressive here because Joel doesn't use something with little points in it. Joel walks the dog on a flat buckle collar. This guy uses something with points like this. So of course you can use less pressure with this because it hurts more than using something flat. I could pull on this all day long, no problem. Put it on the way it's supposed to be. And that's pretty uncomfortable. That's pretty painful. Of course, I'm doing it to myself, so I know how far to go, but... So, this guy is just as bad as any of the other trainers that he's talking about. And he thinks that his you-know-what don't stink, so... Alright, well... Thanks again for the suggestion. I hope you all are doing well. Let me know what you thought of this video, if you got anything from it. If you have any other suggestions for the future. Say howdy-do to your little critters. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.